Hello and welcome to Naval Action. This is VMAQ2 Dead X, and there are 748 online, 132 battles. It's April 22nd, about 9 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. Now I announce those numbers kind of like from myself when I go back and watch these videos. I'm kind of like making a record of what time the population is during. I've been on this game since I've been on this game at like 4:30 in the morning, and then I've been on this game at 10 at night. That's the earliest and the latest I've been on this game so far. I've not been on super late, like midnight, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, nothing like that. 4:30 is the earliest I've been on game, and 10 o'clock in the evening was the latest. And between that time range, I'm finding that the peak population starts at around 10 to 11 in the morning, and it goes through the day up until about 6 or 7 in the evening. And that's when the EU players start to drop off and go to bed. So there's like a little crossover, like in late afternoon Eastern Standard Time, like about between 2 and 5, where maybe the numbers are pretty close to peak. Now on the weekends, that number moves up because people get on earlier and play longer and that kind of thing. I'm talking about during the week. You know, it will start to increase around 10 in the morning, and it will start to drop off around 6 in the evening Eastern Standard Time, U.S. So I'm just trying to keep a track of that so you know when the peak hours are for the peak population, so you can get out there. If your idea is PvP, you want to be on when there's a lot of players. You don't want to be on when it's low numbers. But the lowest number I've seen so far is like in the mid 500s, and then the greatest number I've seen so far is around 1200. That's what I've seen. So just trying to share that information for you so you know what times you want to be online. There was a patch today. Captains. The following changes were applied today, April 22nd. Boarding counteractions in PvP are now approximately twice as effective as those in NPC boarding. Higher level NPCs can now respond more effectively to last second command switches during boarding. Improved wearing and improved running wind at 180 degrees speed across all vessels. Fixed a bug that caused the upper jib in the galleon to not open properly. Those are the all the items in the patch. So, here we are, 2 videos removed from my secret sauce video, and they're already moving to reduce that exploit. And I tried it once. I was out unboxing that basic links. I happened to tag a trader's links with every intention of to sync it. But what it was doing is that it was constantly turning away from me and getting stuck in the wind. And that was starting to become aggravating, and I thought, well, let's just use the opportunity to try that magical boarding process. Now, the crews were equal between the 2 ships. So I slid up to the guy, boarded him, and started. Brace, defend, brace, defend. And what I was finding is that his counterattack to my defend was eating about an equal amount of crew up. Maybe 1 or 2 more, depending on, I guess, how the RNG determines. So when I'm on defend, he's on counterattack. It's about equal. It's about a wash. He's not getting smashed in the numbers. So my crew is steadily getting worn down, just like his is. And, like I'm watching the prep, because once you get below 10 on prep, you're supposed to attack and you're going to win, and that's exactly what happened. The prep fell below 10. It was like at 8. My prep was way higher, but my morale was near 0 at that point. His morale was higher. And because there are 1 or 2 instances where I clicked defend not at the very last second. You know, I mistakenly clicked like with 2 seconds left or between 2 and 3 seconds. That gave him enough time to make the exact right choice against the Fen. And so I lost more guys than he did on that turn. You know? So, like I said, his preparation hit 8, I hit attack, and I won the boarding on that one, and it was good that I did because I was down to 4 guys at that point. So I had to divide my 4 guys in half to take the 2 ships back into the open world, and the game let me do it. I was surprised. And then once you get out into the open world, the game automatically takes your available crew and restaffs both ships fully, just like it repairs your ship back to 100% new. So that was okay. I sailed it back and sold it, stripped it and sold it. But you know that reinforces what I initially said is if you're attacking with equal or less numbers, it can be a close run affair. Always have more crew. Always have 100% prep. That is firmly my opinion. And now they're going to reduce the reaction time of the AI to your last second choice. Means that if you are giving them enough milliseconds to make that choice, you could get slammed doing that tactic. So caution. I want to warn you on that. Other things that I wanted to address from those earlier videos that needed maybe a bit more clarification. I want to give a shout out to Albion 4044. When I brought up the fact that I have my 3 buildings here in Nassau. When I go to a deep water port, will I be able to just make those 3 buildings again? And he confirms that yes, there's no restrictions. You can have as many buildings in as many ports, I guess, as possible. So that's good news to hear. And then I had another question. Mike Will N1D. Are maps different between Peace and Caribbean? Well, let's go see. Okay, here we are in the Naval Action Map 2. And this has a nice little feature where I can switch between the 2 maps. Let me try to move this over just a bit so you can see mostly all of the ports here. So we're on the Caribbean server now. Switch to the Peace server. And it looks to me to be pretty much the same. I mean, there might be a few more ports on the Peace server. There used to be a lot of ports along here, and there were more ports along the coasts here. But honestly, to me, the maps look pretty much the same. Now, my understanding why they removed these ports and then reduced the number of these ports is the devs are making an effort to reduce the fact that in the past the player base would spread out all over the map, and that kind of defeats the purpose of having a PvP server. If you're way over here doing PvE missions, how's that helping the PvP server? So they're kind of like reducing that opportunity for you to go hide somewhere. Like this is about 50% of the ports that were here before, because this is a more remote area. So they reduced the number of ports to concentrate the player base more, and it does two things. It makes less ports, so more conflict over those ports, and it concentrates the player base more. Two things. And that's the idea. More PvP, I believe. So, not sure what else I can talk about that, but to me, they look basically the same. If there are a few more ports, it's a surprise to me. But it looks the same. If you know better, let me know. I'll be glad to say I'm wrong and you're right. Or, or we can look at this number right here. Der 207 selected ports on this one, which is the Caribbean. Peace. 207 selected ports. I guess that answers the question. I mean, it was staring me right in the face and I didn't see it. But no, they look to be equal at this point. Okay, here we are back in port. And another thing I wanted to talk about in the last video, I was talking about, well, you know, we know that like so far on the crafting tree that I've gone up, that after you get so many points above whatever your craft level is at, once you've gone like 3 levels or so above it, that item is now 0 XP. And I was like, well, are ships the same way? And it turns out that yes, they are. Once you go beyond a certain craft level above a ship, the first ship I think we got the blueprint for was the Lynx, and here it is, 0 XP. This was like at around craft level 16 or 17, 18 maybe. I started getting these dropping. And here I'm at craft level 24. All of these other ship blueprints have dropped. The most recent is the Brig. That one just dropped, and it gives 53. So my recommendation is you want to get as much XP on that first day of having that recipe. That because once you go to the next level, this number starts eroding, and in about 2 or 3 levels of crafting increase, it's going to be 0. So get it while you can at that level. But the thing is crafting a lot of crafting a lot of ships uses a lots of materials. So that's what I've been doing the last day or so. Last couple of days is mostly just going out and trying to get and feed the beast, trying to get the materials to feed the beast. So I made like no fewer than 3 oak log runs yesterday. I put some of it on sale here in Nassau, made a pretty penny, and then the others are here. I made a couple ships, uh, warships. At this low level, I'm making out of oak. So here's a pickle that I made, oak. I made 2 pickles, sold one. Privateer I made out of teak and oak. It's still here, waiting to get bought. I probably have it overpriced. At the time, this was low price on the market for a privateer, but since then, nobody's shown interest. We'll see what happens when this expires. What happens to your ship when it hasn't sold in so many days? What happens? So we're going to find that out. Does it just pop back into your port? Does the Admiralty buy it? Who knows? We're going to find out. So that's basically what I've been doing the last couple of days is climbing that crafting tree because like I said, I want to get the cannons. So, and so far, all I've gotten is the 4 pound medium and the 4 pound long. The 4 pound long no longer gives any craft XP. So I crafted a couple batches of this initially, sold them, made some good money. It was good. I'm waiting for the next recipe to drop. So when's that going to drop? Let's look. Whoops. Choose the right one. So the next one is 6 pound medium, and it comes on craft level 25. So I'm at craft level 24. I'm like, what, 18 points away from reaching the craft level 25. So I'll get this the next thing I craft. If I craft one brig, I'll be into the next level, and I'll be able to make 6 pounders. And then the longs come at 32. That's where the money's at, is long guns. Long guns and carronades, I believe, is the big money. Mediums, the Admiralty store sells mediums up to a point, then I think maybe it stops, and it's making the players do after a certain caliber. That's my personal thinking. I'm not sure if it's right. Otherwise, we would have seen 42-pound mediums for sale in Nassau on the first day, and I don't remember seeing that. So I'm working my way up this tree, and the thing is to get to the cannons, you got to craft the ships. So I'm at the brig. When do we get the Trader Snow? Craft level 33. The Snow comes at 34. Rattlesnake Heavy is 36. Rattlesnake is 27. This Prince Newt Chattel comes at 30. Niagara, 31. Mortar Brig, 71. My favorite ones to craft out of this list in the initials are the trade ships. Trade ships sell. When I get this Trader Snow, I want to make sure that before I get to this level, I want to be sure that I got a metric fuck ton of fur logs, and then all the other things I need to craft. As many of these as I can, and get the most XP out of it while I can, because Trader Snows will sell. A combat ship at this level, like a regular Snow, may not sell too well, because people are capping them, bringing them back and selling them on the market, for way cheaper than what it costs to craft them. So it's the ships in here that aren't readily available to cap in the game is what you want to craft. And trader ships, in my mind, are money makers. Right here, Indianman, craft level 55. That's a cash cow right there. When you get to craft level 50, I'm going to spend days stacking the warehouse so that when this hits, I can make as many as I can to get as many XP and then sell them, because trade ship sells. It's only when you get up into the super bigs that there's going to be a market, and these things are so resource heavy requirement that as a solo player, who knows how many days I'll have to spend hauling resources and back and forth to have enough to build one of these gigantic super ships. Because every blueprint that goes up, the requirements are more. Here's the brig blueprint. That's the most recent one. and the numbers just grow. Like fur crew space, 370 logs. Now back in the links, traders links, it was like 241 for a fur crew space. See how the numbers grow? Everything gets bigger, more provisions, more, more, more. So if you're trying to craft in this game, you can literally spend all your time searching for resources, hauling resources for like 10 minutes of crafting, and then you're back on the horse getting supplies again. You know. And so I haven't done much fighting. I've taken the links out a couple times. I'm still trying to unbox it. Here's where I'm at right now. I got 2 done. I'm like 1 point away from the next one. So I'm seeing like 2 or 3 battles in my future in this thing, and I'll finally have it done. And at that point, I should also complete this 7th rank mission. I need 2 more kills, and then I get a chest. We'll see what comes in that. So that's where I'm at in the game. This video was about clearing up loose ends and showing you the craft grind that happens. There's grind in all phases of this game. You gotta choose what you enjoy, and I enjoy the sailing around and gathering resources and dealing with the market values of things. You know, eventually, if you're trying to get resources in the shallow water area on the weekend period when there's more players online, good luck. You know, once you get out into the open world and you get to where your nation is headquartered at, I imagine it might be a little bit better situation because there won't be all 4 nations trying to shop at the same store. It'll be just your nation, and you'll have to deal with the people in your nation shopping at your ports in your home area, wherever that is on the map. So, problem is you gotta run the risk against pirates and other nations attacking you and taking all your goods. So, and I've been seeing that happen quite a bit. There are several packs of pirates preying amongst the French areas and Brits. So have fun and be careful. Be careful out in the open world, and damn sure be careful in boarding now because they're changing it to get rid of that exploit. So good luck and thanks for watching.